Today in Microsoft Flight Simulator, Boris Audio Works drops a full PMDG 777 sound overhaul. Asobo details the big SU4 performance gains and a firm PS5 launch date. BlueBird 757 finally enters beta, while Just Flight preps a free Fulcr 28 version 2.2 upgrade, and a ton of scenery news from Techno Brains Haneda to Thai Models Bengaluru. I'm OverKill, let's get going. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. All right, folks, I'm going to try to punch through this stuff as quickly as possible to give you your time back, but I want to keep you up to date on all the Microsoft Flight Sim buzz. If you do like this video and the content provided by this channel, do be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It certainly helps me out and helps me battle that little algorithm that can be such a difficult PIA. Anyway, let's get going here. So, getting right into the Boris Audio Works 777 sound set. The pack ships for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 now with a free 2024 entitlement at checkout. You're getting the discrete General Electric 90 Trent 800 and Pratt & Whitney 4000 recordings with revamped cockpit cabin ambience, switch and hydraulic effects, and a headphone simulation mode. It's tuned for fidelity without taking any performance away. Available via Orbix for about $15 US, that's before tax. A single engine editions are offered separately. Trailer and a long form overview are embedded down below if you guys wish to check out the sounds for yourself. Again, this is the Boris Audio Works release of the PMDG 777 sound set. The Aerosoft A340-600 Pro. ToLiss Dev interview provided some quite interesting information about this high-fidelity aircraft. So, Aerosoft sat down with ToLiss and talked about the A340-6000 Pro from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and there's a lot under the hood, but the quick recap points are going to be: expect over 200 failures, deep system accuracy, and a custom flight model. The discussion highlights scope, realism goals, and where they're taking the long-haul Airbus and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. The piece also links a full video down below if you guys want to watch the raw content. But as you guys know, ToLiss is quite the developer when it comes to the Airbus series of aircraft. I will be keeping an eye on that for you guys. It's actually kind of awesome to see them hitting the Microsoft Flight Simulator world. So stay tuned for the channel for further news and updates as it becomes available in regard to the ToLiss A340. SayIntentions.AI has announced that its subscription prices will increase from November 1st of 2025. The AI-driven ATC and traffic simulation platform has become one of the most talked about services in recent months. Now, why the change in pricing? And that is just because of the overhead. The team says the decision comes after extensive internal review, as is intended to ensure long-term sustainability. The platform has expanded rapidly over the past year, growing from a voice-based ATC assistant into a comprehensive cloud-powered ecosystem that now includes AI co-pilots, global traffic injections, SkyOps dispatching, pushback coordination, ATIS reports, and coupled DLC communications. So, with the increased feature list, if you will, they have decided that an increase in pricing is required. So from November 1st of 2025, the monthly plan will rise from $19.95 to $23.95, while the annual plan will move to $239.95. However, existing subscribers will continue to pay their current rate indefinitely, provided their plan remains active. So as long as you are currently signed on with SayIntentions.AI, your pricing will not change, and it will never change unless you cancel it. But be understanding of how this works, just to make sure you guys all understand how grandfathering applies to all of this. When it comes to SayIntentions or any other subscription-based program that does things like this, if you cancel it and then 3 days later decide that you want to go ahead and stay with it, Unfortunately, at that point, you will pay the new rates. So understand, it is not something that, well, I was a subscriber for X amount of years or whatever. It will not matter. Same thing has happened before with like things like Verizon Wireless and things like that. Once you terminate the subscription, bam, that's it, baby. The next time you come back, you pay the new rates. So keep that in mind. The latest developer update for Microsoft Flight Simulator has given the community one of the most detailed looks at its future of the series. So let's go ahead and talk about the big ones that are going to be coming down the highlight line. So the developer team opened up the broadcast that they just did a few days ago with the recent content drops, starting with the German city update, which brought detailed photogrammetry and improved the landmarks to major urban areas such as Hamburg, Cologne, and Dresden. This was followed up with the release of the Eurocopter EC-135, adding a highly requested helicopter to the default hangar lineup. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 roadmap for a second. The team has basically stated that Sim Update 16.1 is expected in the future, but they are continuing on the basically once a year release. So featuring critical crash fixes to NVIDIA streamlined DLLs, while Sim Update 17 is planned for summer of 2026. Simultaneous city and world updates for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024 are also due to come. Microsoft has confirmed that both simulators will continue to share some level of content parity, with certain aircraft and missions from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 being ported to 2020 where technically feasible. Basically, as long as the features within inside of 2020 match what's in 2024, they'll copy them over, but anything that's specific to 24, they can't do. A new first-party aircraft is also planned for later this year. The team acknowledged that while the community is now split between Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, the newer platform is seeing consistent growth. However, a substantial number of simmers remain loyal to 2020, myself included. I will totally understand those who love 2024, and that is fantastic for all. I don't know. For me, 2024 just feels more like a game. It's not the same. And that's not to say anything against its features or its flight models or anything like that. There's just something about it. It just doesn't have the same feel. And unfortunately, as time moves on, that'll be something that I have to get over. So I am working to fly 24 a bit more. Zoom levels and texture resolution. One of the common concerns has been the inability to increase zoom levels above 18 or use 5x12, 5x12 textures. Asobo confirmed that this wasn't intentionally a design change, but rather an unexpected side effect. The issue is under active investigation, and hopefully we'll see a resolution to that. See what I did there with resolution? Now let's talk about the big kicker, performance gains in Sim Update 4. When asked about the Sim performance improvements, Asobo confirmed that major changes to the simulation engine. In previous versions, aircraft systems often ran on a single thread, limiting scalability. Now, most systems are fully asynchronous and can be spread across multiple cores. So this is going to increase, quote-unquote, the load on your CPU without bogging it down. Allowing it to use more of its physical and virtual cores should increase performance and allow that data to be streamed a bit easier on your CPU. So those of you who see limited by main thread when you bring up your FPS counter should see some overhead now. Sebastian Welch also demonstrated how user aircraft simulation now runs in parallel, supported by new CPU cache optimizations that we just talked about, that group data for faster access. Around 20 major systems have been rewritten using this new structure, producing measurable gains in frame rate and smoothness. Can't complain there. As far as lighting and environmental updates, Sim Update 4 is the complete overhaul of night lighting. The new night lighting system uses larger, high-resolution textures that are baked and streamed dynamically, resulting in sharper, more realistic illumination that stretches across the entire city. When asked about improvements to the atmosphere and cloud rendering, Asobo also said the team is aware of ongoing requests for higher fidelity skies. These enhancements are planned for a later update following community prioritization through feedback snapshot system. So make sure that if you guys want to upvote that, you guys go and do so. Otherwise, it will remain on the backer burners. And I said backer, not the back, but backer. Career mode, Reno Air Racing, and other activities. The team also confirmed that the Red Bull Air Race will return with Sim Update 4, while Reno Air Races are targeted for next year. The Bush Trip system also is planned to return in 2026 with expanded functionality. So there's quite a bit going on here, and finally the last big touch is PlayStation 5, which I really don't know how I feel about this, but I guess it is what it is. Nothing can do to stop it now. But the PlayStation 5 edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 launches on December the 8th of 2025 and will ship with Sim Update 4 pre-installed. The PS5 version represents the first time the franchise has appeared on the Sony console, opening the experience to a brand new audience. And I think this is part of what my problem is. I'm sure you guys all remember. And just to be clear, I have nothing against these applications being on the console, but in my personal opinion, they need to be console or platform specific. They need to have a version for PC. They need to have a version for the Xbox. They need to have a version for PS5. When we saw Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 move over to the Xbox, we all remember what happened. There was absolutely a degradation in visual quality and some performance issues for those of us who were on PC. The golden rule that nothing anybody can say will ever shake my stance on this is that simulation needs to be PC specific. And the reason being, and again, what I mean by that is, or platform specific, and it's because you are never going to get the performance out of an Xbox or a PlayStation that you can get on a PC built for simulation. Emphasize that last part, built for simulation. There is not an Xbox One on the planet that is going to tank your 5090s and your 4080s and your 64 gigs of RAM or 128 gigs of RAM or whatever it might be. You're just not. You're not going to get that, right? And so that's why they need to have those individual platforms, because in order for the platform Microsoft Flight Simulator to exist on a multi-platform environment like PlayStation and everything else, you have to handicap the PC. I mean, that's exactly what happened when they moved to the Xbox, and that's exactly, I'm willing to bet, what's going to happen when they go to Xbox One or a PlayStation 5. And again, that's not to shoot the simmers down. This is, everyone should have access to the simulation, but it needs to be platform specific, because those of us, and I will tell you this is my advice as someone who has been simming for the last 20 years. If you are interested in getting into the simulation world, I'm going to tell you 100%, do not go console if money allows. Go PC, build yourself a badass PC. The peripherals, the systems, the performance, the overall configuration, the third-party applications and aircraft that are available to PC far exceed the value in sticking with a console build. Again, this is if money allows. I am not trying to shoot anyone down. If that's all you can get and that's what you can afford, by all means, soak it up, take it, have a great time. I am not trying to take that away from anyone. Just my thoughts. But if you can swing it, go PC. You won't regret it. Just Flight shared new development updates for its classic Fokker F28 Professional, confirming that version 2.2 upgrade is nearing its completion. This free update will be available to all existing Fokker 28 owners across the Microsoft Flight Simulator platforms. So it's going to be 2020, 24, as well as the Xbox. While the main focus of this update is ensuring 2024 compatibility, allowing the aircraft to appear on the in-sim marketplace for the first time, Just Flight has also taken the opportunity to refine and expand several areas of the aircraft. So make sure that you guys get ready to check out this, again, free update version 2.2 of the aircraft that will be ready and waiting for you very soon. Now, one of the ones that I have been following for a very long time, BlueBird Simulations 757 enters beta testing. They recently posted an update on their Discord and mentioning that they have entered the stage 1 of beta testing over the last few days. They mentioned that some may consider this a late alpha testing, as not all of the systems are ready yet, but it is a milestone for them to finally have some external testers and provide valuable feedback. The team estimates that all 3 stages of beta testing will take many months going into 2026. They did include a few screenshots of their posting showing that the internal cabin of the aircraft, as well as there was one on their Discord from the external side. I cannot wait for this aircraft. I really hope that they get this thing knocked out soon. Obviously going into 2026, I'm guessing maybe summer, but Cross your fingers, and to the BlueBird Simulations teams, of course, keep doing that amazing work that you're doing. I can't imagine how hard this is, and look forward to this aircraft once you guys finally roll it out of its hangar. rkApps is back again and has announced an FSRealistic Plus, a brand new iteration of its popular immersion tool for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Unlike the current Pro Edition, FSRealistic Plus has been rebuilt from the ground up and will feature direct integration with Parallel 42's ChasePlane, which I highly recommend as your camera system if you guys are not using it already. It is absolutely night and day difference between the in-game camera system and what Parallel 42 provides. Even if you are just a basic user and I don't need that much, it's just a camera. It's not. Trust me, Parallel 42's ChasePlane is absolutely the way to go. Doesn't matter what your camera use cases are in the flight sim. You'll be much happier once you get it up and running. FSRealistic Plus introduces more than 30 new effects and around 120 redesigned sounds, all of which are tied directly to ChasePlane's camera engine. This means that camera motion, vibrations, audio feedback are all synchronized to create a more cohesive experience. The goal is to make turbulence, landings, and even subtle cockpit vibrations feel more believable and consistent. Remember when FSRealistic first launched, for those of you who were using it, one of the things that they were handicapped by in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 was there was no access to the camera system. That's why it took so long for us to get a camera system that was actually opened up. Asobo kept that sucker locked up tight for, gosh, the first 3 years, I think it was, if not longer. It wasn't until nearing 2024 that ChasePlane actually made its debut into 2020. And that's because, again, Asobo kept it locked up. They weren't giving access to the camera system in the simulator. So that prevented a lot of really cool features to exist in the FSRealistic Pro. Again, those camera vibrations and things like that. Well, now that's no longer the case, so it's actually really exciting to see this. Among the new features, simmers can expect passenger reactions to turbulence in landings, pilot head anticipation during maneuvers, and improved in-sim interface for adjusting the effects. There is also support for a custom sound imports and profile sharing, giving users more control over how the tool behaves with different aircraft. So now you can share your profiles, you can share your settings, you can integrate third-party sounds with it, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So super excited for this one. I will definitely be grabbing this. I loved FSRealistic in every version that we've had of it so far, and then now that it's tied in with ChasePlane, like that's a buy for me. That's a done deal. It's done. It's happening. So great job to the guys over at rkApps. And again, I will not stress it enough. I highly recommend you buy both. If you have one and not the other, it's just pointless, especially if you go the rkApps and don't get ChasePlane, you're going to want that. Like it flat out said in the description that it relies on it and integrates directly with it. So that's a must. So keep that in mind. Last up on the news today is OverKillSimulations. Yeah, that's me. HangarControl is nearing its release point. I'm going to begin handing this out to a few testers later on, probably during the week, and then the week after, hopefully we'll have any bugs and major issues ironed out. And we'll be doing a release video where we talk about the shipments of it. I don't know why I keep moving there out. So let's talk about a few things. You guys have already seen multiple videos on the control binding section. Make sure that you guys check out the channel if you're interested in more information on that. The app hanger is now fully active, where you can now create and manage new profiles. This particular software will completely set up all of your applications. You can add different applications to the particular fields and be able to launch them in a particular sequence. It will also save all of your Windows positions and launch orders. So it's a very, very powerful program that will allow you to do just about anything you want. You can launch anything from executables, shortcut links, and web URLs. You can also browse recently opened applications if you choose to do that as well. Very, very powerful software. And it just dawned on me that you guys were only seeing part of that, but that's okay. I promise it's all there. Stupid OBS drives me crazy. We also now have a mods hanger that is fully integrated and functioning inside of the application. This mods hanger allows you to do exactly what it sounds like. It will control all of your mods, add-ons, profiles, but it does far more than just reading specific mods. First off, it can work for any game, any application, really just about anything that you can think of out there, because not only will it do checks for you to verify that certain mods are in their correct structure and that they aren't broken, we also have it currently in in testing, we are looking at being able to check for dependencies, but it will move any file or document you wish for it to move. It may give you a warning about certain things that it finds concerning or things that may be a potential issue, but if you tell it to move it, it will move it. Which means for things like American Truck Simulator DCS World, you can move all of your profiles, your aircraft, your mods all in one big shot, as well as Microsoft Flight Simulator, that are, of course, being the primary focus there. Another really cool thing that it will do is it will also create a backup if you tell it to. When you create a certain mod or item list, it will actually back up the original document for you first. And then if you find that there's an issue or you don't like it or you want to go back to the original, you simply disable the mod and it will return the backup back to its original location, minimizing the workload on you. You can also set all of your directories for both repository and the target directory. You can set that at either the profile level here, or you can set it at the container level here. So a container exists within inside of the profile. Basically, think of the container as like the Caribbean islands. You would have all of your scenery in a Caribbean islands container, and you can have its own repository and target directory configured within inside of the container if you wish to as well. Again, this is very helpful when you're modifying config files and it's not a traditional mod. Config files, profiles, monitor setups, VR setups, whatever it may be. That is where that particular feature becomes available and helpful. And again, the ability within inside each container to set a backup so you don't lose any original data. You don't have to worry about storing that yourself. You simply tell it to back it up and where you want that backup to go, and it is done and over with and returned when the app is closed. So again, we have a few more tools and options. There will be a tools menu being dropped onto this particular application later today. We are coming very, very close, guys. I'm super excited. The website is hitting its last touches as well. And again, my goal is hopefully within the next 7 days, this product will finally go live. Make sure that you guys join the Discord. The HangarControl chat is for the most part available. It is up and working. You guys can definitely hit the general chat under that. Drop in your suggestions and ideas. I am already implementing some ideas that I'm seeing in the Discord. So if you guys have specific features and things that you want to see in this application, this is definitely the time to do so now. Again, so it controls your all of your control bindings, much like SPAD.NEX or Axes and O's or FSUI PC7. It controls all of your applications. It will launch all of your applications based on a specific profile, your Beyond ATCs, your SayIntentions, your websites, your sim briefs, your navigraphs, all in a specific order. And of course, the window Microsoft Flight Simulator or your simulator will launch. And then finally, it will also save all of your window positions, as well as giving you an option to center them back to the primary display if something goes south or a display becomes unplugged. And you have your mods hanger for controlling all of your mods, add-ons, profiles, config files, etc. And there's still much more coming to this software. So stay tuned for more on that. I appreciate all the love and support it's been getting so far. And as always, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.